Welcome, everybody, to the Floor Academy podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Hadeen, owner of Illustrious Hardwoods in Phoenix, Arizona. This week, our guest is Paddy McNicholas from the United Kingdom, and he is a flooring installer and now owner of MN Floor Training. He has recently opened up a training school, which I absolutely love. I think this between him and some other places in the UK, there's actual schools you can go to. You don't have to depend on the union. It's not just certification. It's classes you can go, you can take, you can get better. The US needs this kind of stuff, and so I want to find out why it exists, how it exists, and where's it going. Before we get Paddy introducing himself, I want to jump in and say the Floor Academy podcast is sponsored by Tralama, the trade labor marketplace where businesses can find skilled trade labor, such as flooring installers, and where flooring installers and other skilled tradespeople can find permanent or project work. You can set up your profile at tralama.com. That's TRALAMA.com, or download the app from the Apple App Store or Google Play. And remember, Tralama is always free for skilled tradespeople. All right. So, Paddy, let me know who you are. Give me the 30,000 foot overview of your life, how you kind of got involved in flooring and where you were and how the training center came about and where you're going.
Okay, so my name's Paddy McNicholas from MN Floor Training in Wolverhampton in the United Kingdom. I've been fitting floors now for 19 years. I first started out doing just working in schools, doing the carpets in schools, and then I moved on to doing domestic work, so carpets and vinyls in people's houses. Then about 5 or 6 years into my career, I started doing luxury vinyl tiles. As I got better and better at them, I wanted to progress my design work in my floors. So I started out doing a lot of straight lay floors, then moved on to sort of diagonal work, then started doing a lot of parquetry, herringbone designs are massive in this country.
Okay.
Then about 4 years ago, I started doing design floors. So parquetry panel work, geometric designs, and 3D designs. All that content I've taught myself, but there's a big call for design floors like that, because if you can create a floor that is different or better than your competitors, you're then creating, you're giving confidence to people who are searching for you on the internet. If they can see that you do better design floors than your competitors, it puts me ahead of people for job leads before I've even spoke to the customer.
Mm-hmm.
So I got into training last year. I was delivering training for Carndine in the UK. I was there for about 8 months, thoroughly enjoyed the training. That came to an end earlier this year. They offered me a full-time job, but I didn't want to work full-time for a company after being self-employed for nearly 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back to fitting floors and thought that was the end of it, and then had a massive call on social media for me to still deliver training. I did a post about it on my social media and had over 200 people say that they'd come on my courses. I also had lots of manufacturers in the flooring industry saying they would support my training centre. So I worked for 2 more weeks and then spent the next 3 months building my own training centre in Wolverhampton.
Man.
So my training centre specialises solely in luxury vinyl tile installations, from your straight lay, diagonal work, herringbone work, and then I do a level 2 course, which is bespoke design work, so parquetry panels, 3D effect floors, and design borders. Again, all my own content, so sort of created my own niche.
Okay. And everything is glue down. Like I've tried to play with this stuff with floating planks, and it seems like floating installations aren't as popular in the UK. So this is all glue down. You're essentially milling it yourself on site, maybe off site if you're doing like a repeated pattern. But then everything's going and getting installed on site into glue so it all stays, right? Because there's no locks and whatnot.
Yeah. So I only fit the glue down ranges.
Okay.
You can only really do design work with the glue down product. There is still a massive call in this country for your click system and your floating floors, but that's not something I do.
Mm-hmm.
I've always stuck to stick down at the products. For me, you get more of a peace of mind that you're not going to have an issue with it. And like I say, I prefer doing the more design aspects of floors, which you have to do with the glue down floor.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I've started playing with the. I'll cut off the locks, and when I'm doing like a set of stairs and I hit a landing, at first I was only laying them at a 45, and I was like, okay, well that makes me different than everybody else. And then one day I was like, this job kind of went sideways. I want to make the client happy. Like I wonder if I can put a border around it, do some 45s, and then I'll lay the like just so the border will meet up nice, and then I'll lay the center of the border at a 45. And I was because it's a landing and it's going on stairs, it all gets glued down. And the first one turned out kind of wonky because I'd never done it. The second one turned out much better, but now I have something to show clients like, hey, look, this is a step above what everybody else is doing. You can have this if you want it. You know, there's a premium price to get it, but it definitely separates you from your competitors when everybody else is at a straight layer. They can only do a 45 or something like that. And so this being able to go and get skills from somebody that's proven they're successful is very, very enticing to me. And I think it's something the states need a lot more of. So how I guess my question kind of to start off is, how does this compare to like wood flooring? Because this used to be like you used to have to go and get a wood floor in order to have these beautiful, crazy designed floors. And so is this getting people excited about design floors at a cheaper price point? Or are you comparable to what the wood floor guys charge over there?
Yeah, I mean, if you want a bespoke design floor, obviously it takes a lot of time to cut it up
Mm-hmm.
and to create the design, and obviously you need to take waste into account. So it's not cheap, but ultimately people want a better floor than their neighbour.
Mm-hmm.
So by being able to create something bespoke that nobody else has got, there is a big call for that. Not a massive call, but there is a big call for it. And like I say, if you've done a few design floors that are different and better than your competitors, it sets you aside from them.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when potential customers are looking for work on the internet, looking for fitters, if they come across work they've never seen before, it really does give them confidence in me, to use me as a fitter as opposed to my competitors.
Yeah. Is there I mean, as you've done it, I'm sure you've seen the demand grow. Is the demand growing because people are starting to see more of it, or is 90-95% of the work really just straight lay stuff, and you're getting into these neighborhoods where it's probably a little bit wealthier, people have the money to really throw at this stuff, and then it's keeping up with the Joneses in the $1 million homes or something like that.
Yeah, so like I say, I started out just doing straight lay and then advanced up to doing stuff on the 45, then started doing herringbone work, and then started to do the design floors. So with a design floor, it doesn't have to be a 50 square meter room. You could do it in a little toilet or a little hallway.
Mm-hmm.
The smaller jobs obviously are not as expensive. And to start out, I wasn't charging massive money to do these bespoke floors because I kind of felt like I'm investing in myself by doing work that other people don't do. And it definitely paid off because 40 to 50% of people who call me for a quote only want me to do the floor because of my portfolio. So
Mm-hmm.
by investing in myself on previous jobs, it pays off tenfold in the future.
Well, so there's an interesting insight, right? Is I like that the riches are in the niches, as some people like to say, and so you've definitely found something where you can charge a little bit higher rate, but now people only want you. So before you opened the training center and that was your full time thing, did you have any employees or were you just a one man show?
No, I've always worked alone.
Okay.
I've had people with me now and again, apprentices, but um, I find it, I'm better off just working by myself. I don't have to pick up someone and drop them off. I don't have to worry about them being ill on a Monday
Uh huh.
or not fancying it on a Friday. I'm quite particular about my work and how things are done, so it's just easier for me to work alone. I've got quite a good work ethic. I work really hard, so the long hours and the travelling was never really an issue to me.
Hmm.
And ultimately, the hard work that I've put in the past on jobs and especially on design floors has paid off for me now that I've built up a reputation where people actually want to come to my training centre for me to teach them, which is the dream job for me, really. To fit one beautiful floor a week, gives me a lot of job
Hmm.
satisfaction. But to train 6 people every week how to be considerably better at their job and give them life skills that they will always use is way more satisfying. And also, I'm sort of helping the industry to get better, which is something that I never dreamt I'd be in this position, to be quite honest.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think you get to mentor people, and I'm sure there's more going on at your classes than just talking about how to actually install the flooring and do the work, right? Like you've run this successful business, so I'm sure you're giving them the business conversations behind the scenes of, hey, how are you doing this? How do we take this out into the world and actually use it? So let's start diving into that. You said you had like 200 people reach out saying that if you opened a training center, they'd support you. So it took you about 3 months to get it built and worked out and have the space and whatnot. So how did that all how did it develop? Like you said you were helping Carndine, and so where did the idea of like, well, I'm just going to open my own and go balls to the wall for that come from?
So, like I say, I was working at Carndine. I loved training. I loved working there. That didn't materialise. Um, and I kept getting messages pretty much every day saying, "Paddy, will you come and train me?" And I thought, there's something here that I need to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
So I put a post on social media and was inundated with people saying they'd come on my course and that they want me to teach them X, Y, and Z. Um, and the support I had from manufacturers as well was, I was quite taken back by it, to be honest. A lot of them I've never met or spoke to before,
Mm-hmm.
and for them to approach me, these big multi-million-pound companies saying they'd support me, I thought, yeah, I'm going to go for it. I know there's not that many training centres in the UK to deliver luxury vinyl tile training. There's over 30,000 installers in the UK, and there's probably 5 or 6 training centres. So, there's definitely a gap in the market there.
Yeah.
And also, to give me a bit more a lot more confidence, was the amount of fitters that wanted me to actually train them. So I had 2 more weeks work booked in. I did that. I cancelled all my other work. I then found my unit that I was going to move into, spent 2 weeks emptying it, and then spent the next 12 weeks building the training centre. So I did all the decorating, built the training bays. I had meetings with manufacturers from all over Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, had a, and then had and a lot of people wanting to come on the courses. Had a lot of help from the industry in regards to manufacturers giving me product to train with, branding for the walls. So it all came about really quickly. It wasn't 6 months ago that I had the idea of the training centre, and I've already run, I think, 8 training courses
Mm-hmm.
now, 6 months later. So it's crazy how it's all came about so quickly, but it all felt right. I had so much support to do it. It was just a case of putting the hard work and obviously the money into getting it up and running.
Yeah.
Now I'm sat here. I've got 2 weeks left this year where I've got no one booked on my training courses. However, I've had lots of inquiries this week, and I wouldn't be surprised if I do end up training for the rest of this year every week, which is something that I'd never dreamt of, to be honest. I didn't think it would take off this quickly and this well.
That's what I was going to say. It's been really quick, and I've seen you make a couple of posts since we've friended each other and whatnot. And the work these guys are putting out for a training class is top notch from what I'm seeing. So you're either the most amazing trainer ever, or everybody is coming in with at least a decent set of hand skills. Do you have any kind of like qualifying process, or you need 5 years experience or something like that before we can sign up with you?
No, not at all. I've had a lot of people in who've never fitted luxury vinyl tiles before. They've been carpet fitters. On my first course, I had a young lad, I think he was about 17, 18. He'd just come out of school, never held a standing knife before in his life. So I think I'm just good at telling people what to do.
No,
I can only work with people in front of me, but fortunately, everyone who comes to the training centre wants to be better.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my own unique techniques that I have for scribing and setting out and just understanding things in a simple way, which I put across to the lads on the course. And yeah, the results that I've had in their work has been fantastic, to be honest. Some of them are better than me, which is, it's great to see. And like I say, to see and know that they're going to use these skills for the rest of their career in hundreds of different homes and companies and floors they're going to put down is very rewarding for me, to know that, they're always going to have that skill set. And like you say, the pictures that the lads produce on my course, because it's their work, not mine, they've all done me really proud. And yeah, a lot of the pictures and the precise work they do generates more work and generates more people coming on the course, which is what it's all about.
Yeah.
I only have 6 people on a course. A lot of other training centres have 9, so I can spend considerably longer with each person and give them more knowledge and more information and help them more. But also, because I have less on a course, I can put more content in than other training centres. So the way I train and the content I train is a lot different and a lot more intense than other training centres that I have been on, which I think has shone through in the pictures of the work and the reviews that I've had since setting up the training centre. And that is partly what's generating such a high demand for my training courses.
Okay. So walk me through, what does, like, you have 2 different courses, right? You have like a basic and like a higher end one.
Yeah, so I have a level 1 course. On the Monday morning of the level 1, we go through subfloor preparation. So I usually have a manufacturer in to deliver that subfloor preparation course in the mornings. Sometimes I do it myself, but it's nice to get a manufacturer in. It sort of adds a bit of prestige, from my point of view. So we do that on the Monday morning, and then we do straight lay in the afternoon. So I teach them how to scribe in absolutely perfect to a skirting board, and how to scribe in around architraves. Again, I just break everything down into real simple terms so that everyone can understand it. Tuesday, we get considerably more complicated, and we use the scribing techniques from the Monday to then scribe in your 45-degree work to your architraves and to your skirting boards, which is very challenging. It's a floor layer's nightmare to cut in around an architrave, but like I say, I break everything down. I go through everything thoroughly with everyone on the course, spend a lot of time one-on-one with them, and yeah, they all understand it. They all understand the technique I'm teaching them, and ultimately they've then got that skill to take into the real life floor fitting.
Okay, what's an architrave?
Oh, sorry, around the door frame at the bottom of the door.
Got it. Okay, so you're getting some fancy. We generally will call, like, we'll put casing around the door frames, and so you can get fancier ones. Like I think I saw it where, like, you were showing a picture and they had to like scribe just this little tiny like bit, like just right up into a piece of trim work, essentially.
Yeah, so it's not easy to do, but there's
Mm-hmm.
numerous different techniques that I show them, and ultimately different techniques and different scribing methods work in different scenarios. So I try and go through as much as possible with them on the course.
Yeah.
Also, for me, it's really important to deliver an aftercare package to fitters. So when they've left me, I want them to send them pictures of their work. I want them to message me with questions. If they're ever stuck, I want to be there to support them, because I was in that position a few years ago. And for someone to help you out when you're in trouble on a job or worried about something, for me, that meant the world to me, and I really appreciated the support when I was younger. So now to be able to give that support to other fitters it's nice to be in that position, and I want to be able to help the trade and fitters
Yeah.
as much as I
Totally. I would not be where I'm at today if I wouldn't have found the Facebook groups and met high quality installers from across the country that I couldn't message, because I went out on my own very early. I got about 2 years experience and I was off doing my own thing. And so even though it's only like click together floors that I do for the most part, you still run into situations that you've just they're 1 in 30 year situations, but even then 2 years experience just doesn't introduce you to enough situations that I had a lot of questions early on. And just having somebody reliable that's been there, done that, you can call, they're gonna have the answer. It makes a huge difference. So the course is a week. We're gonna do some subfloor prep. We get into how to actually start doing the work. What does that cost me to come in and be trained for a week?
So my 3-day courses are £595 for the
Okay.
3 days. I've basically just set my pricing at what other floor training centres set their pricing for. If I was to be considerably cheaper, then other floor training centres are going to hate me.
Yeah.
So I've done it at the same sort of price, but I have less on a course. So I'm not doing this to make loads of money. I want to be
Mm-hmm.
able to help the trade, and ultimately, I love training. It's a lot more rewarding than fitting a floor. And believe it or not, floor layers are easier to deal with than the general public most of the time.
They
Most
get
of the
it.
time.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it. You never know what Susie homeowner is gonna do, or what complaint they're gonna have. So you get some people that understand what's actually going on working with you, and they're gonna cut you some slack if something happens, and hopefully generally not be a prima donna and give you a hard time.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
but again, I've had a lot of customers in the past who are amazing to work for, and some who are an absolute nightmare.
mhm.
And now, because I'm quite active on social media, and I'm keep in contact with all the lads fitters who've been on my course, a lot of the time they'll ring me and they'll be like, Paddy, what do you think? And for me, if I'm going to quote a job and I don't get the right vibe off the people I'm going to
Yeah.
work for, I'm not going to work for them. Because if I've got to work in that house for a week and I'm
Mhm.
already getting a bad vibe off them after half an hour, there's plenty of other floors I could fit, is my
Exactly.
honest opinion.
No, it's great advice. I live by it. Right. Everyone thinks that the homeowner has you out to interview you. No, 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 no. This is a two-way
Yeah,
interview. I'm interviewing you just as much as you're interviewing me. And if I think you're going to be a pain in the butt, but I really want the project, well, I'm going to go home and work up the numbers with the pain in the butt tax on it.
yeah,
Or I also know that just because you called me, somebody else is going to call me. I don't have to have your project. There's others. And I think when you develop that mindset and you're kind of aloof to your customers in a way where they can tell that you don't really care if you get their job, but if you do, you're going to do an amazing job at it. It almost builds confidence, because if you're in there desperate trying to beg, borrow, and steal to get it, right? You're competing at the bottom of the market. They can sense that, and they're going to take advantage of you.
yeah. So I always say, if I go to a customer's house, if they want a design that's not going to look right, I will tell them that, I'm not fitting this design for you because it's not going to look right. I'm not putting my name to that job.
Yes.
When I go to a quote, I go into as much detail as I can in regards to the subfloor preparation, the design of the floor, the colours they're going to have. And I'm very opinionated about what I want to do and the products I want to use. And because I am so opinionated about it, it reassures the right customers that you want to work for that, yeah, Paddy does care about this floor that he's going to fit. He's not just coming to earn the money, which then again breeds confidence in the customer, and they want me in to do the floor. Sometimes you'll get customers who want to knock you down on your price.
Yeah.
For me, that's very insulting. My price is my price. I use the products I use. This is why people get quotes. So you'll have, your high-end quote, your mid quote, and your cheaper quote. And 99% of the time, the quotes reflect the finish of the floor and the job. And obviously, if you want a good job, you pay the right person the right money to do the job. As you well know, materials vary a lot in cost. I use the more high-end, expensive products because I want the best finish to the job.
Yeah.
So I kind of look at it as I'm not paying for the floor, so it doesn't bother me how much it costs. If you want this floor to look this good, this is what it's going to cost. And like I say, if people start bartering me for the price, then I don't want to work for them because they're undervaluing me before I've even got through to start the job. Whereas the customers you want to be working for are the ones that trust you, because if a customer doesn't trust me, how can I trust them?
Yeah, exactly.
And I like to think that I give them enough confidence in me when I go to quote that they do trust me. I get on with them in the house, try and have a laugh with them, try and find some common ground. But I always stick to my guns. These are the products I'm using. This is how I'm going to fit your floor. And the right customers will trust you and have you in to do that.
No, I totally agree. It's I learned very quickly it wasn't my money, but I'm responsible for spending that money wisely. And so if I can go and buy premium products, it makes my job easier to do as I work through the project because you're dealing with better quality stuff, and then you're able to provide a higher quality end product, which that's what everybody wants. I feel they don't always know it at first. And so, I've had people would try and haggle with me early on, and I'm not that far into owning my own business. I'm like 3.5 years in. And so it's only been really recently that I've stopped. Like if somebody wanted to haggle that, okay, I'll come down a couple $100 just to get it right. But now I finally learned what it costs to run my business and what my value is. And people come along and, hey, you're $600 more. Okay, well, here's why. Because I went to Paddy McNicholas's school and I learned how to do this right. I invested in myself so that I can be better than everybody else out there. I'm going to provide you with better materials. I know that I have to provide myself with a retirement. And you start breaking it down to clients, and it's amazing how quickly their attitude changes. And they're like, whoa, nobody else put it to me like that. Like the fact that you have to pay taxes and you need to buy your own vacation. Like, okay, the amount you said is fine. We're getting a little off track. I love this conversation. We can probably get back into it, but I do want to know more about the school. So we talked about the intro class. What's let's go through the more advanced class, and then does that cost the same, or is it is it more expensive because you're going over more advanced stuff?
No, so the price is still the same. It's still a Monday to Wednesday course.
Okay.
Both courses are very intense courses. This way you get value for money. The level 2 course, we do parquetry panel work like you'd get in old French chateaus. Again, it's quite a niche market, but it's something that your competition doesn't do. Therefore, to have things like that on your portfolio generates interest in your work and also improves your reputation, which, is priceless.
Yeah, no, and I think it's good to have. Honestly, like my struggle lately has been I'm sick of laying a rectangle and it's straight, right? Even a whole, if I'm doing a whole giant house, it's just rectangle after rectangle. It's all straight, and so getting the ability to have one area that you can play in and get really artsy, like it breaks up the monotony of what we do. And I think that's huge for being able to go and give guys and gals that opportunity to get outside the box, do something different for a day or two, and just get them back to why they love the trade. You know, a lot of people get burnt out, and so this, I think you're providing an amazing opportunity.
Yeah. So also we do geometric shapes. So we do 3D designs and design borders, all sorts of weird and wonderful shapes and patterns. Now, I always say my level 2 course, it's not about how much money you'll earn off the course, it's
Mm-hmm.
how much money the course will earn for you. Because if you do a few design jobs and a few design borders, a bit of 3D work, granted, you're not going to do it at every job every day,
Yeah.
but it's like I say, it's not the money that you earn doing that job, it's the money it earns you in the future when people go through your portfolio of work, see that you're doing stuff that nobody else does.
Yeah.
They're ringing you straight away for a quote. I still get 5 or 6 job inquiries a day, which
Man.
I pass about to people in
Mm-hmm.
the area who are local. So again, I'm sort of helping them as well, you know, get extra work in. And also, I don't just want to turn around to a customer, a potential customer, and say, no, sorry, I can't fit your floor, and put the phone down.
Yeah.
Even though they're not my customers, it's nice to give them a bit of customer care and say, you know, try this person, try that person, reassure them that, excuse me, that they should use the right person who comes to quote, not the cheapest quote.
Yes.
You know, if you're going to have someone working in your house for a week who's £250 cheaper than someone else, but you're not happy with them, you'd have rather have spent the 250 quid extra getting the right person in, being happy
Mm-hmm.
with the job at the end. It can be quite a stressful experience to get your house, your flooring done in your house. You can
Oh
have
yeah.
to, you know, empty every room, and someone's there all week. You want as much peace of mind in your fitter before they come round to work as possible, and having a portfolio of work that is different to your competitors certainly gives that reassurance to potential customers. And obviously reviews as well.
Mm-hmm.
Reviews are massive in the UK. I don't know what happens in America with reviews, but over here everyone's looking online,
Yeah.
everyone's leaving reviews. If I do a parquetry panel or a geometric floor for someone, I'm going to get a very good review. Want to make sure I do, because I always make sure my customer service is as I would give it if it was my mom that I was working for.
Mm-hmm.
So I always give the right customer service and also the finish of the job. It's also important to get on with your customer and try and build up a rapport with them.
Yeah.
And again, that is going to generate a better review for you. So it's not just your portfolio that wins your work in the future, it's your reviews as well. They're priceless. I've got lots of reviews from my fitting company, McNicholas Flooring,
Mm-hmm.
which I am in the process of shutting down because I'm not really doing any fitting anymore. But I've worked so hard to generate them reviews over the last 7 or 8 years. I'm a bit gutted to get rid of them, really. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I don't want 5 people ringing me every day for a floor that I can't do.
Yeah.
So yeah, but now I'm hoping that I'll build up my new reputation and reviews in my training centre. Floor layers can be very critical creatures, and the
Yes.
reviews I've had so far and the work that they've done has been amazing, and it's generating demand for fitters to come on my course, as opposed to last year it was, you know, me going to fit people's floors. So I'm using the same sort of mentality with customer service and my reviews, and
Mm-hmm.
again the pictures that I post online of the lads' work off my course, which, like I say, generates reassurance this time to floor layers that yeah, they should be coming on my course because they can see the work that they're going to produce at the end of the 3 days.
Yeah, no, I think it's reviews, pictures, testimonials. They're all gonna push you forward because people want social proof in order to jump on board. So all that stuff is super important. I mean, you've said you had those 200 inquiries, and now you've pretty much trained every week, and you've just got a bunch more inquiries, and probably be able to fill out the rest of the year. It seems, which is it's not a lot of guys that you have coming in since you only have the 6 base, but it's still, that's, if you've done 8 weeks now, right? That's almost 50 guys, and so we oftentimes, from what I can see, struggle to get folks to trainings here in the U.S. Well, and not even trainings. A lot of times it's a certification. So like, you get to walk away and say, hey, somebody says that I really, really know what I'm doing. So like, I'm sure if I go to your school, right, like I can say I went there and people know that I know my stuff. But you need to get like 10 people together for these things, and you start asking around, and you can't put together 2 or 3 that want to do it, and it's like pulling teeth. We're putting together. I went in January of 2020. No, yeah, January 2020 to a training in Texas. So I had to travel to Texas, like, I don't know, 800 miles away or so, to do it. Buy a plane ticket, rent a car, get a hotel, go back and forth to the class for a couple days, and then be able to come home. So, a healthy investment. But there was, I had a buddy come in from Florida. There was a guy from Wisconsin. There was people from like Kansas. I think some people from Utah came in. It took people from all over in order to make this one training class happen. And so this place is based in Texas, but they're not filled every week with 10 installers from Texas. It just doesn't happen. So
That surprises me.
It's sad. It really is. So what is there a different mentality in the UK about getting training, or is it that you have something people really want? Like, what's the draw? How do you think we can get more people to want training and certification in their life?
Okay, so I think social media has a big part to play in training. People think that they're good floor layers,
Mm-hmm.
and then when they look online and they see people who are absolutely amazing, it opens your eyes to how good you can be. It really surprises me that there's not many training schools or many training options in America. You must have tens and tens of thousands of floor layers who, by the sounds of it, are not getting much training at all.
Mm-hmm.
In the UK, like I say, because of social media, everyone wants to be better. A lot of floor layers are on sort of flooring Facebook groups or Twitter or Instagram, and they can see what other people do. And like I say, everyone wants to be better than the competition. This is why people are coming on training courses. If you have a job that goes wrong and you have to replace it, they say it can be 3 times the original quote to replace a floor. So therefore, you're better off getting a bit of training, and you're not going to have them failures in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Going to a training course is considerably cheaper than replacing a big floor. I'm actually hoping, I'd absolutely love to come out to America and deliver some training. I've been in talks with someone from Saudi Arabia who wants me to go out to Dubai to deliver training there.
Okay.
And someone in South Africa who is raising sponsorship for me to go there to deliver training as well.
Okay.
The knowledge I've got, I don't want to be better than everyone else. I want everyone else to be better. And, I seem to have that knowledge and skill set to pass on to people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to think the right mentality to pass that on as well. And that is what I fully intend to do, hence why I've opened up the training centre.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I need to jump in here real quick, and then we'll get right back to this. What's the hardest part of starting and growing a flooring business? Getting clients. If you're serious about taking your business to the next level, you need a marketing partner like Traffic Digital. Traffic is a full service marketing agency that works with flooring companies all across the country. They'll help you get a continuous stream of customers using the most modern online marketing techniques. So visit www.trafficdigital.com today to sign up for a free marketing analysis. Don't forget, Traffic is with a K. I'd be who are you talking to in South Africa? Is it Barry Doveston?
I believe it is, yeah.
Okay, go back, man. I got an interview with him. What he's doing with Flooring Africa sounds absolutely amazing. I would love to find a way to get a bunch of like manufacturers here and like tool vendors to get a bunch of top-notch floor guys from America to send us down there and work with him and some of the people he's working with. It sounds absolute. It just sounds like it would be an absolute blast. So
Yeah, I would love to go to South Africa, to be honest. Teach people how to fit floors, swim with sharks. Nice.
I'll skip the sharks. You can have that, but no. And even if you came here, like there's definitely opportunity. You know, we have it's like you said. There's a ton of people here. There are people that are interested in training, and so it's a little bit more broken up. Like the tile industry has its own thing, and so they have a certified tile installer certification through one entity, and then wood flooring is with another entity that's just like that's all they do is they just specialize in sand and finish wood flooring. There's some like almost specific carpet people. They've delved into a couple other things, and they do have a tile cert and a hardwood cert, but they really truly like at the core their carpet. And then there's like a high-end carpet one for woven goods and wool and Axminsters and things like that. But it's you would think, like you said, with the amount of people we have, there would be more interest. And I think social media does help. That's how I even found out about all this stuff. I didn't know it exists, and I think that's the problem is a lot of these organizations don't have the funding to be able to even advertise themselves well. It's all going to be word of mouth, grassroots movements. And it sounds like that's kind of how it's working for you is people were like, hey man, you're really good. Can you come and like train me? And it doesn't sound like you're having to advertise your school at this point. It's just kind of from the posts you're putting up in the local groups that are, you know, for the UK and on your personal page, people are finding it and wanting to get involved that way, as opposed to you having to run an ad in a flooring magazine that's local to the UK.
Yeah, so I'm dreading Instagram and Facebook, realizing how much work I get off there, because when they know, they're going to start charging me through the nose. Obviously, with Instagram and Facebook, you can put like hashtag flooring.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who follows that hashtag, you know, the work off the courses then comes up on their feed. So I'm directly advertising to people in the trade just by using a hashtag, which is too good to be true. So I'm going to make the most of it while I can before Mark Zuckerberg clocks on.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, I built my business through Facebook, so I get it. What's the next steps? Are you going to add in any additional courses? Is there going to be like a level 3 course? Are you looking to get into maybe some other types of materials, or like this is kind of it for now and you're going to ride it out and give it another 6 months, a year, really get some people under your belt and then start looking at changing it up?
Yeah, so I'm always looking forward and looking to improve what I'm doing. At the minute, I'm not getting too carried away looking forward, because I need to build up the reputation for the training centre and focus all my time on that so it can be as good as possible for the people who come on the course, which, you know, the better the course is for them, the more they learn, the better their work is, which generates more leads for me when they're posting good work online. That being said, I am in the new year going to look into doing courses for 18 to 21-year-olds or 18 to 22-year-olds.
Okay.
So to encourage more youth to get into the flooring trade. Unfortunately, your teenagers are a lot more lazy now than they were 20 years ago when I was a teenager. They,
Uh-huh.
instead of playing football, they're playing FIFA on their phone.
Yes.
Instead of skateboarding, they're playing Tony Hawk's on the PlayStation. So obviously, flooring is a very physical job. The younger they can get into it, the better, and the better they can become, the sooner
Yeah.
the better as well. Because obviously, if you're 18, you go to work every day and you're not very good, you don't really enjoy it. Whereas if you can come on a training course and get 2 or 3 days intensive training and be considerably better when you leave, a lot of people that come on my courses can't wait to go to work on the Thursday to use all the new techniques they've done.
Yeah.
And then, Thursday lunchtime, they're sending me pictures of their work, in customers' houses.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, the sort of feedback I want from fitters, that they've got the pride in their work when they go to the customer's house the next day. They're using the skills I've taught them. And that's going to help them to progress to be better than their competition. And again, they're investing in themselves, which will pay off in the future when they're posting better pictures and better reviews than their competition. So, it's about looking outside the box. It's not, oh, I'm going on a course, it's going to cost me this much. It's, you're going on a course and it's going to advance your career massively in the future. I always say that you'll learn more on a 3-day training course than you will in 3 years on site. I'm very hands-on with my training. I know all the shortcuts and the ins and outs, and I also know all the codgy ways that people do. And when I catch people trying to do the easier option on my training course, I am straight on top of them and pulling them up on it, so that, as if a tricky customer would be, on top of their work and pushing them to be better. I do that in the training centre, obviously in a sort of friendly, humorous kind of way, but also show them how to achieve that much better finish, and ultimately different techniques to create cuts or whatever it is. It's just adding more knowledge to them, which they can then use in the real world when they're fitting floors for Mrs. Smith.
No, I think it's the part that really matters is that excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm getting over a cold. It's absolutely horrendous. You're saying that the money you'll make from the training, like, you have to focus on what you're going to get out of it and not put into it. And that's where a lot of guys and gals get hung up, I think, is that, my training course, well, the cost of my certification, well, the cost of it was only $500 between the rental car, the hotel, and all this stuff, right? It was like a $2,000 extended weekend. And a lot of people, I think, look at that and they're like, it's not worth it. You can't look at it at what the cost is up front. You have to look at it as to what it can do for your business and the way it can help you market yourself and really advance you forward. You're always going to make that money back. It stings a little up front, and you got to get over it. And then as for the kids, man, I want to say they're lazier. And I got a 12-year-old boy and I got a 9-year-old daughter. And I don't know that they're lazy. It's like society has changed a lot since you and I were kids, and I think that's a lot of it. And I've also noticed
everyone's got more lazy. So here, people don't even go to McDonald's anymore. They get it delivered.
Exactly.
They can't even be bothered to go to McDonald's to pick it up themselves. They get it delivered.
It's horrible.
Kids are, looking at their phones all day. When we were kids, the park was full. People were playing soccer. People were playing cricket. Now they're all got the headsets on at home, talking to each other online, playing games online.
Yes.
And I worry that is going to transfer into later life. And instead of, being proactive and wanting to do physical jobs, they all want to be YouTubers or, play Fortnite for a living, which, you can't blame them. But at the same time, we still need tradespeople out there coming through the ranks.
Correct. And I think they're out there. I mean, the best example I have is that my son has had a bit of an attitude problem lately, and so he's actually he's lost his privileges to be able to have his Nintendo Switch and his Kindle and get like screen time. But it's helped change him a little bit because now he has to go and find things. So he's got a tub of Legos that he has, and they weren't touched for a long time, and lately like the creativity has just sparked out of him, and there's like 15 spaceships in his room that weren't
Yeah,
there a week
which
ago.
is great.
Yeah,
Which is brilliant. And if he hadn't have been misbehaving, would he have, had that creative spark, and how would he have
exactly.
used it?
Yeah, it never would have happened, and that's
Yeah,
what I like seeing. And so I think the kids are out there that we can get involved in the trades, but we have to find them, identify them, and
get them in
and
early.
get them. Yeah, you've got to get them out of it. And like I went to the reason I got into flooring was I looked at the I needed a new career path, and I looked at the skill set I had, and I always enjoyed woodworking in my like middle school and high school years, so like 13 to 18. And so I was like, oh, I like that. Like, I'll find something to involve, go with that. I live in a region that's really, really hot in the summer, and I was like, okay, I don't want to be a framer, and I don't want to work at a like cabinet shop because I'm just going to keep producing the same thing over and over again. And I stumbled upon wood flooring as I was like going through things temporarily, and I cold called up 30 contractors, asked for a job. Two of them called me back. I worked for both of them, and now here I am doing everything I do. But it's I was given an opportunity at a very young age to make something that's very rewarding. And I think a lot of times our school systems are delayed gratification, right? You ask your teacher, when am I ever going to use this? And they're like, oh, you'll need it. It's going to come in handy. But I was able to go to wood shop and create something from this raw product, and at the end of the class, I had made progress. I could see that something was happening, something was changing. I was getting closer to the final step. Or if it was something small, you can build it, in a 50-minute class period. And I'm walking out of class with this new thing that I've built, and
And you get a sense of achievement, which is again what
exactly
you get when you fit a floor. Whereas if you're
correct.
playing PlayStation all night, there's only so much sense of achievement you can get out of that, really.
Well, it's fake achievement. Is kind of how I look at it, right? Like you did it, you beat that other guy online, but does it really mean anything? It's
Hmm.
it's interesting. I the way I've like explained flooring to people, and I tell my clients, I was like, I have the greatest job in the world because I'm going to come here, I'm going to rip out your old ugly flooring you hate, and you're going to thank me for it, and you're going to be just astonished that it's gone. I'm going to start installing the new floor, and you're going to come in, you're going to tell me absolutely how much you love it because it looks so much better than the old stuff. And then I put up the skirt boards, and they flip out again because it just completes the room. So every step of the way you get this immediate feedback that's instant gratification. And I think if you can get kids addicted on that, you get them involved with the trades, and you get them involved in this like, look, you're going to get this instant feedback, this immediate gratification. That's what you got to get them addicted to, besides just the fact that like, look what you made with your hands by the end of the day. When you start getting into the things that you're offering, and you can get really creative, and you really get to be, you know just you're installing one of a kind pieces. It doesn't matter if you try and create it twice. No piece is going to be the same twice. You're going to screw up a cut somewhere. And so it's how do we show them that? Because I think if you can start showing kids that, they will definitely be way more interested in what we're doing.
Yeah, and this is why I want to do my training courses. So I'm going to do them at, like I say, people aged between 18 and 22 at a massively reduced rate. It will be an intense 2-day course where people will come on the probably Thursday morning, with very little or no experience in fitting floors.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time they leave on the Wednesday, they will have picked up, life skills, and hopefully have a lot of pride in what they've done. On my first course, when I had that young lad who's just come out of school, I had to make provisions for him not to cut his fingers off, which I managed to work around.
Okay.
You know, numerous things that I did to make sure he wouldn't cut himself, put him in a pair of gloves, elevated the piece he was cutting, so forth. And he was absolutely buzzing when he left the training on the Wednesday. His boss messaged me the week after saying, Paddy, it's like I've got a new kid at work. He's really hungry. He's outside every morning waiting, because he's not terrible at his job anymore. He's picked up so much in 3 days. He can't wait to get out there and do it in the real world.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that for someone and, numerous people in the future is really gives me a lot of job satisfaction as well. And yeah, it's finding the people who want to learn, but ultimately by providing the training for them at a reduced rate, they're going to be more inclined, or their parents will be more inclined to get them on the course. If you can do something to a high standard after 2 days, you're going to want to continue doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's a massive call for floor layers in this country at the minute. I have numerous companies call me every week saying, Paddy, can you recommend anyone to come on the course? Sorry, to work for us. But obviously everyone's busy. So there needs to be more floor layers in the trade. There needs to be more youth coming through because there's not enough.
Yeah.
So by doing a short, intense training course at a reduced rate, specifically designed for the youth to encourage them to stay in the trade or to come into the flooring trade, I think is a nice touch, and I think it will be successful. We will find out in the new year when I launch the courses.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that you can make it successful. My question when you kind of answered it was, do you have a place for them to go after you train them? But if you're already getting calls, then you're going to be able to say, look, hey, go talk to this company or that company. And I think that's the hardest part is, like, sure, they can come and get training, but can I get placed in a job right away, put my skills to work and get moving, as opposed to like, I have to go and sell myself.
Yeah. So from an employer's point of view, if someone came to me and said, Paddy, I've been on a course, look, here's the physical pictures of the work that I've done. That is going to impress me, the fact that they've already been on a course, they've got pictures of their work, they've got knowledge. They could always, the said employer could always ring me for a reference about the lads who've been on the course. Sorry, lads or girls who've been on the course. And because there's such a demand for floor layers, if I know numerous companies around here that if I said I've got 3 18-year-old lads who've been on the course, they want to get into the industry, they've had training, they would snap them up at an instant. Because if you can get young blood into your company and continue to train them and can, have them working with experienced fitters, you're giving them a career.
Yes.
And yeah, they have put a bit of work in at the beginning to go on a course, but to go on a 3-day course at the age of 18 is a really, really good head start into any career.
I think so. I think you're going to give people a really good, realistic foundation. To be honest, not enough small businesses have formal training programs. And the fact that each person that comes through gets trained differently or treated differently, and then you compound on that the fact that a lot of us were, we still kind of have that greatest generation and baby boomer mindset of somebody does something wrong and you want to throw the tool at them or yell at them. Like I didn't enjoy that when I was getting trained and worked at different companies. I didn't like being belittled in front of my coworkers, but that was the way it was done. And these kids definitely don't respond to it. And so if you can bring them in and train them and give them this good foundation where they feel very positive about themselves and they know they're actually doing it right and they can go show somebody else and they're not going to get belittled the minute they show up, Man,
instead of
that's going to
learning
help.
everything the hard way.
Yes, it's going to really set them up for success, and these companies will be able to build better cultures and systems moving forward. I think I think it's very commendable what you're doing and looking to do, because it will change the industry slowly but surely.
I hope so. I mean, there is a lot of at the minute. There's a lot of apprenticeships available in the UK, but apprenticeship training, I think they go to a training facility once a month.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not much. And obviously, they have quite a few people on these apprenticeship courses, so you can't spend much time with them. Again, I'd still have 6 people on a training course, 6 youngsters. I can literally go around from one to one and continually give them advice and help them with what they're doing. So over 2 days, I'm very confident that they will massively upskill, mainly because I am so hands-on with my training.
Mm-hmm.
And having low numbers means I can give them more content, spend more time with them. They're going to get better work by the end of the 2 days, considerably better work.
Yeah, no, for sure. Um, Patty, we've kind of come to our end here, but is there something that I didn't ask you that I should have asked you? Is there something that we're leaving out of this interview that people really need to know about?
No, I'm not going to do a massive plug on my training centre. Um,
Well,
but if you do want to come, email me.
okay, so
But hopefully I'll be over in America next year. I'd love to come over and do some training.
mhm.
Um, if I can help the flooring industry in this country, that's great. If I can help it in America, that's wow, that would be incredible. I want to share my skill set that I've got with as many people who want to learn it, really. If I can teach people in North America to go out and do better floors forever, then that, again, is going to be huge job satisfaction for me. So training is my main focus and my future, and I just want to spread that out as far as I can.
No, I think it's awesome. I don't think there's enough people. Once again, when you go back to that, like, baby boomer Gen X mentality, there's a lot of people that have a scarcity mindset, and so they don't want to share the skills they have and the knowledge they have because they're afraid you're going to run off with it, and you're going to take all the work. No, I'm going to go compete on an equal level with you if you share it with me, and there's enough work for everybody. Like, honestly, if the trade started getting too many people in them, it's kind of an easy problem to fix. Just stop taking people on for a while. Like, we can dwindle out, or if we all go get proper training, the people at the bottom they'll fall out because they won't be able to stay around. So, I love that you're willing to share all this stuff that you've took years to learn, and you're just passing it on. So I know you said you're not going to give a massive plug, but that's exactly what you get to do right now. So how do people find you? How do they reach you? Where can they look at what's going on with the training school? If you want to drop a phone number, the website, the Facebook page, whatever you want to do, how do we find you?
Okay, so my training centre is MN Floor Training in Wolverhampton. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, McNicholasFlooring@gmail.com. That's McNicholasFlooring@gmail.com for emails. And my phone number is a UK number. It's 078 554 00013. And if anyone wants to see any of my previous design work that I've done, it's McNicholas Flooring on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, and you're putting up the training stuff on McNicholas Flooring on the Instagram now too, or no?
No, all my training stuff just goes on MN Floor Training.
Okay, is that the website, or is that the Instagram over there?
So, sorry, the website is mnfloortraining.com.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously I'm on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter a little bit as well.
Okay.
And LinkedIn as well.
Got
Paddy McNicholas.
All right. I love it. I very much thank you for your time. Thank you for working with the time difference. It wasn't too difficult. I'm beginning my day. You're ending your day. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good, relaxing weekend. And I look forward to seeing what develops, and if you make it over here, I think I'm gonna have to find a way to make it out. Just to even, I don't even care if I get to like learn. I just want to watch.
I'll show you some things, mate. I look forward to it.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much, Paddy.
Great. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Kyle.
You're welcome. All right. That's all the time we have for this week on the Floor Academy podcast. You can find out about what services you can listen on and find our merchandise at flooracademypod.com. What else do we need to add in this outro? Now that I've switched to this format, it's really bad because I don't have anything to read. If you have suggestions and you want to email us a topic, or you want to be a guest, you can email us at flooracademypodcast.com. And you can help support the show by visiting our Patreon at patreon.com/flooracademy. Flooring Domain is an award-winning online flooring directory and service marketplace that helps you find more customers, grow your online presence and reputation, or your brand. Whether you are a carpet store, flooring installer, perhaps a tile contractor, there are jobs for everyone with a daily stream of customers visiting Flooring Domain and looking for experts like you. Flooring Domain offers a free listing option that allows you to find new customer leads. You can set up a free account at Flooring Domain by visiting flooringdomain.us. Have you ever tried to install LVP on steps only to struggle with the solution for the stair nose? Introducing Snap Caps by SnapTech. You simply send SnapTech the exact LVP your customer selects, and they'll turn it into a perfectly matched stair nose that clicks flush into the tread plank for a simple and reliable solution. Visit www.snaptech.biz to learn more or order. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in live on Facebook. We will get this on YouTube in the future. And once again, Paddy, I appreciate your time. Thank you.